my name is Sarah. If you are new here, I am currently about 25 and a half weeks pregnant with my second child. It's a girl, and I do have a son who is about 20 months. So I wanted to share with you how I'm feeling, how this pregnancy is going so far, being 25 weeks pregnant. And with my first child, I did get preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome. So I compare pregnancies a lot, and I talk about things that went on related to preeclampsia and kind of how they compare to how I'm feeling now. So that's something crucial to know about my first pregnancy and kind of things that I'm focusing on and keeping in mind for this second pregnancy. So the first thing that everyone always asks me about this pregnancy is, do I have swelling? Am I feeling those symptoms that I had for my first pregnancy? Which honestly, I started to swell at like 22 weeks with my first pregnancy. It was very early, a lot earlier than most people start to have swelling. So already at this point, last time I was pretty swollen, and it was consistent week after week, and it never really went away. So for this pregnancy being 25 weeks, I have not had much swelling at all, honestly. I think the swelling that I've seen, because I'm paying very close attention and I'm really like looking at my hands and my ankles on a daily basis, and I think the little bits of swelling that I've seen occasionally are probably just normal swelling that a person gets from being in humidity or walking a lot or being outside a lot. So honestly, I don't think that I've really had any swelling like for this pregnancy specifically. There hasn't been any moments that have been bad at all, and I'm still actually wearing my wedding ring, which is really like a huge thing for me because I did not expect to still be able to do that. I had to take it off at like 20 weeks last time. So I'm very just glad that things are going a little bit smoother. That does not mean that I'm in the clear for preeclampsia, because a lot of people get it like the last few weeks of your pregnancy, but it just seems like my body is handling this pregnancy a lot better, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But starting off with just how I'm feeling at this point, I think I had a lot of back pain last time, but this time I really am not having much back pain at all, which is interesting. I would think that for your second pregnancy you would have more back pain, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I am being a little bit more active, but I haven't had much back pain. The thing that's really getting me is cramping and tightening of my stomach every time I go on a walk, which I try to go on walks like every other day at least, and I'm getting a lot of cramping when I'm walking. And then just in general, when I'm trying to clean the house and hang out with my son and do the daily things that I need to do, I'm getting a lot of tightening in my stomach, and I don't know if it's Braxton Hicks because I didn't really have any of this my first pregnancy, so I have nothing to go off of. But the best way I can explain it is like, it feels like I did a bunch of sit-ups and then I'm trying to like go about my life, and my stomach is like really like tight and tired. It just feels like the muscles in my stomach are very fatigued. So I don't know if that's Braxton Hicks or if things are just stretching and moving and my stomach is just tired and just worn out, but it just feels like my stomach muscles are constantly tired and overworked, and so I'm getting some tightening and just kind of light cramping. It's nothing bad and it's nothing consistent at all. It's kind of like a feeling that just will go on for maybe 30 minutes and then go away, and that's it. But it's just a lot more than I feel like I had the first pregnancy. So I don't know if that's because I'm being more active or because it's a second pregnancy, but that is probably the biggest thing that I'm struggling with at this point, is just stomach pain for different reasons throughout the day. Sleeping has been pretty good because I don't have as much back pain. That makes it easier. And I also, this time around, have just been a little bit better at figuring out what positions work well for me. I've been, instead of using a pregnancy pillow, I just have 2 extra pillows that are really like soft and squishy, and I put one between my knees and then one I'll like hold between my arms, because when you're on your side, it's nice to have something to prop like one of your arms up on. So I just have my normal pillow under my head and then 2 extra pillows for that reason. And that seems to work really well for me. And you can get cheap pillows at like IKEA or Target or Walmart, and that's a whole heck of a lot cheaper than a pregnancy pillow. So that has actually worked better for me than the whole huge pregnancy pillow situation. So sleeping hasn't been too bad, but I am getting up to go to the bathroom probably 2 or 3 times a night. The other night I had a really bad night and it was like 5 times, but on average I would say like 2 or 3 times. So that is probably the biggest thing that keeps me from getting good quality sleep. In terms of eating and cravings and things like that, honestly I haven't had really anything stick out to me. Nothing crazy that I'm wanting all the time or that like I really can't eat. I'd mentioned earlier that I really have been liking sweets versus savory things with this baby specifically for some reason. And people say, you know, if you're having a girl, you crave sweets, and I don't know how true that is, but for some reason for me, this pregnancy is all about sweets. And that's definitely still true. I still crave a milkshake or cake. Like the other day, I just really wanted cake. I wanted like vanilla cake with vanilla frosting, and like I haven't had like good cake in a long time, so I was just like, that sounds like the best thing in the entire world to me. And then I had one of those little like cakes you can make in a mug in the microwave, and like that was all that I had available and willing to buy for myself. So I made one of those and it kind of satisfied that craving a little bit. But yeah, that's like the one thing, like just sweets, like ice cream and cake for some reason is like amazing sounding at all times pretty much to me. But that's kind of been consistent throughout the whole pregnancy. In terms of weight gain, I feel like I'm kind of unique in that way because I do have a high BMI to start with, and I just don't eat that healthy, honestly, to like start my pregnancies off, and that's definitely something I'm working on. But if you aren't eating that healthy to start and then you just kind of keep eating the same, like my body doesn't really gain a lot of weight, and I just kind of keep trucking along and just kind of eat the same things I've always ate, and it's not a big deal. So for me, for my first half of my pregnancies, I usually don't gain like any weight, like maybe 2 pounds. And then that's, once I hit like that halfway part, that's when I start to gain more weight, just because the baby is literally gaining weight and I'm getting huge, and my placenta and water and just all of that is happening. So that's kind of been the same story for my first and my second pregnancy. Is the first half I don't really gain much. So being 25 weeks now, I think I've gained about 8 pounds, give or take a pound. And so that's not a lot, but honestly, I am completely happy with that. And if I gained more, I would be fine too. Everyone is different, and so that's why I think you really need to talk to your doctor and talk about where your BMI is at and what weight gain would be appropriate for you. For some people, 10 pounds the whole pregnancy, not a big deal, that's awesome. But for other people, that would be not enough. So it's really important to just look at your specific situation and do not just go off of what you hear other people say. But for me, I think my first pregnancy, at this point I had gained about maybe 12 pounds, and a lot of that was water weight because I had been swelling already. So for me to have gained a little bit less than that this second time around, it makes a lot of sense because I'm not having as much swelling. So I think I'm at a good place for me personally and my body and what I am doing. So at this point, I am trying to be as active as I can be. It gets harder and harder every week because of all of the cramping and just feeling large. But I'm at least trying to just do simple things like walking or dancing around the living room with my son, or, you know, something of that nature. I'm not trying to go hard at all, but just keeping active and moving, and then trying to eat as healthy as I can. I do give into cravings frequently, and I'm not going to feel bad about that. But if I can have a salad for lunch and then I have a sweet at night, I'm just trying to balance things out the best that I can. So that's kind of where I'm at with nutrition and exercise and everything. I am starting to have to think more at this point about the reality of having a VBAC, and it's something that is still really, really hard for me to make a decision on. And I think I'm leaning towards having a VBAC, but it still really scares me. So I don't know, I still need to think about that more. I feel like eventually I'll just kind of know which way I want to go, but right now I'm still so torn. And the main reason is just because there is a really large risk, my placenta tearing where the incision is. So I know it's a rare chance that that's going to happen, but it still really makes me nervous because it would be devastating for me and my baby if that happened. And I don't have that risk if I do a C-section. So I'm just trying to weigh those options, and it's taking me a really long time. My son is starting to wake up from his nap. You're probably going to hear him a little bit crying in the background. So I need to go grab him. But I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to tell you guys about being, 25 weeks, kind of everything that's happened since I did an update at 20 weeks. But we are just chugging along. Time is going by real fast, and I don't know how long I have, because with my son, I had him right like the day I turned 36 weeks. And so who knows what's going to happen this time around. So I'm trying to be as prepared as I can early on if something like that happens again, because you just really don't know. It could be for a completely different reason this time. But I am getting really excited and getting bigger. As you'll see, I'll do a bump shot in a second for you guys, but it's getting very real because it's visually obvious that I'm carrying a child at this point. And it's just it's, you're constantly reminded with all of the aches and pains as you go about your day, and having to slow down and take it easy and try to make sure that I'm putting my feet up every once in a while to just make sure that I'm keeping that swelling under control. So we are heading in the right direction, though. I mean, things definitely feel better and look better than they did in my first pregnancy. So I'm really hoping that I can stay healthy, and I would love to make it to 40 weeks if I can. I've obviously never done that before. I've never gone into labor naturally. They tried to induce me last time. It didn't work, and it went to C-section. So there could be a lot of exciting firsts for this pregnancy. So a lot that could happen in the next couple months. I'm very excited and just ready to take on the next few months and see how long we can go. And I've never had that experience of being like huge, because it was my first pregnancy and I had him a month early, so it'll be interesting. But if you enjoyed this update and you want to follow along with my journey, please hit that subscribe button and like this video, and also just comment down below if you are pregnant. I'd love to know how far along you guys are. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.